You know, I got the gym I work out at is they have a special for first responders and for veterans. It's $5 a month. Uh, it's a fantastic facility. It's a real got a real weight room in it, and it's got some other good things in it. And I got done with my workout today, and I sat down and was just looking through a few things, people watching, you know, and guy sat down in the little spool there and some chairs around it, and people sit down occasionally, chew the fat. The guy with the knee brace sat down, and we were talking about it. He's the firearms instructor and the SWAT team instructor and a member of the SWAT team and a school resource officer for the Broken Arrow Police Department. Heck of a nice guy. And then we were having a pretty good conversation, and then another guy sat down. He's an older gentleman. You could tell he was in there just, you know, doing a little workout. But he was 80 years old, and he had spent 40 years working with some school district in California. They had won more state championships than any other school district in the state. And he said one of the best parts of working for that school district was that from the time they began, it was all about competition. It wasn't about it wasn't about pandering to the lowest level or the weakest link. The success of the school district depended upon the success of each kid as they competed against each other to better themselves. And as this 80-year-old man is sitting down there talking to us about this stuff, you know, sometimes I'm fairly grateful for these ideas, these people that I come across, these successful individuals that take their time to sit down and talk with each other. You know, those kinds of times, I think that's one of the most romantic ideas of that Greek mentality and the all thing, is that these men would sit down and they would discuss ideas, and they would discuss the merits of these ideas and how they would make the tribes, the villages, the kindreds, the city-states that they belong to more powerful by competing with each other. Not out of hatred or ignorance or anything like that, but an effort to strive towards something much better than they currently are. I see some of that in Asatru. I see people that want to try to strive. I personally see a lot of things that I want to compete against other people. I want that's part of who we are, is we want that recognition. We want to strive to compete. We want to be something more. But I also see sometimes that people that are striving for these ideas are missing the point in some manners. They want to be recognized. They crave that glory in that direction. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing, is that direction. There's something very primal that we touch into when we begin to follow this way of life, when we begin to actively live this way of life. The military was a heyday of competition. You know, who could do the most push-ups, who could do the most sit-ups, who could run the fastest, who could shoot the best. All of those very simple things added up to a group of men that worked together to try to be something better. Now that's a uniquely combat arms kind of idea, but it doesn't have to stop. I mean, if you have kindreds and they want to compete, if you have somebody, I mean, we don't have to limit it to Asatru. I consistently think back of what Chris Jocchio has done with his Mob City Strongman, and what Master Chim is doing with the Pressure to Power project, and what we're doing with the AFA. You know, we're contributing to that competitive spirit that allows men and women to step up to the plate and succeed as they are able to, and to move forward. And I don't care really what their background is, to tell you the truth. I mean, I typically prefer to maintain this idea that Asatru is the indigenous faith of the tribes of Northern Europe. I think a lot of times when other people show up, there's a kind of a messianic overtone to it, this idea that the gods will call who they will, and somebody shows up that really doesn't fit the bill. I really don't think that's appropriate. I think it's kind of a slap in the face, to tell you the truth. Much as if I were to put on a headdress and go to a stomp dance after the sun went down, that's kind of a slap in the face to that tribe, and they will tell you that too. But I think when we get right down to it and we're competing with each other, not out of spite or out of hatred, but to better ourselves and be as successful as we can for the people that are immediately around us, so that it might spread out. I mean, that's got a kind of utopian ideas to it, but I think that's kind of where we're at, aren't we? I think there's a lot of people that are tired of playing the same old game and just kind of doing, okay, do this, get a job and do this, and then you get a job and do this, and step by step by step. And yeah, that's the way generation after generation of people have done it. And it's also kind of what's got us in this point. And when people come into this faith of Asatru, they're looking for that idea, that breakthrough foundation of understanding and knowledge and grand new horizons and all that stuff to help move them forward into some new dimension of their existence. Now, that might sound kind of esoteric, but isn't that what people are looking for? Something different? That Megadeth song, if there's a new way, it better work this time. I mean, truer words were never spoke, I don't think, even if it was tongue-in-cheek. I think we're seeing that now. People are looking at this and saying, this is enough. I think I got something here, we're going to give it a shot. I think when we undertake that obligation to be as the best that we can possibly be, given the tools that we have and the strength that we are given, I think that's one of the greatest successes we can enjoy. You know, we want to be tied to the grindstone. We want to see our children succeed in ways that we can only imagine. There's no reason our children can't be the next generations of doctors and lawyers and astronauts and scientists. Why not? If that the more I watch about this Scientology stuff, the more I look at these people that are desperately looking for a purpose greater than themselves and willing to suffer all kinds of ignominious abuse over it. To be beat and cold water poured over them, and to fail to understand that they have what it takes to fight back, because everybody might not like them. They might be declared a suppressive person, and nobody will like them, and they might be alone. And isn't that a shame that we are so lost that an absolute lunatic like L. Ron Hubbard can get up there and sucker hundreds of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people into this and bilk them for millions of dollars because they want to be liked, they want to feel like they have a purpose, and they want to think that they're going somewhere. When we get into Asatru, we find a group of people who have given it their best sometimes and really not approved of what they found. And we're beginning to understand that we have what it takes inside of ourselves to accept ourselves first and foremost, to commit to the development of our children to be the best that they can be, because we have what it takes to do that, else we probably wouldn't have them. And to compete with that powerful, solid confidence of a man that's willing to learn from failure and to be magnanimous in victory. We've got it. We've got what it takes, and I think people are beginning to raise up and look at it. We don't need to be the savage barbarian to achieve that. We can stand up like good common men and walk anywhere a free man may go, because we have the confidence in who we are and what we're capable of, no matter what our backgrounds are, no matter the defeats we have suffered, no matter where we may have come from. Once we step into this way of life, Steve McNally told me one time, he said, this isn't easy, Bryan. He said, this can be a tough path sometimes. And he was right. But in that struggle, in that trial, in that struggle to continue going forward and working towards what I believe in and what I think I can do, I have enjoyed a number of successes. And I think it's possible for everyone that jumps into Asatru with both feet and gives it all they got. Yeah, you're going to have your setbacks. Yeah, there's going to be wrong ideas. But if we keep moving forward, and I have found that kind of mental toughness, that kind of association, that desire for success in the organization I'm a part of. Other people find it in other organizations. I'm always going to say mine's the best because I made that decision. But read some of Teddy Roosevelt's writings and see if it doesn't inspire you to want to do great things yourself. That's what we've got to believe that we're here for, to do something great. And fitting into that system that everybody else fits into does not necessarily constitute greatness. our challenge, our obligation, now that we have found this way of life, is to make the determinations of what that greatness might really be. The spirit of competition is a fine way to find out what that is. So get somewhere, get into a gym, move something around that's heavy, or run down the road or do something, but get up and try. Get up and try and see if you're better than the next man. And if you're not, admire him, salute him, and keep trying harder.